Hey everyone, Leo with Dreaming Tree, and welcome to the assembly video for our Rudolph Gnome gift box. Actually, they're gift boxes. We have a gable box on top and a square box on the bottom. And we're going to begin the assembly with the gable box. And you want to grab these two pieces here. You're going to take the black piece, glue it on top of the brown so that just a little bit of that brown shows through. Okay, so make sure that you apply glue to the black piece so we don't accidentally get some glue on the exposed brown. And because the antlers are a little flimsy, I'm going to do this on my surface so they don't go bouncing around the room. Okay, grab that and then use the other antlers on the shadow layer as your initial guide for placement. Match those up nicely, and the rest should sort of just fall into place. There we go. Press that down. Here we go. Okay, next we're going to take this layer, okay, and this layer is going to go right on top here. And I did strategically just ink this area here, since this hat's going to be this part is going to be covered up by the brim of the hat. There's no sense in inking that. It's just a waste of time and a waste of ink. So just focus on inking that area there. And we'll throw some glue around this whole section. There we go. And I want to line this up flush with the bottom. And you can see here that it also matches up with the black shadow layer for the brim of the hat. Make sure that everything lines up nicely, especially the bottom. You can kind of use your fingers to push that down and just feel and make sure that it's sitting where it needs to. There we go. Okay, next we're going to grab his little cheeks. Okay, and the little yep, they're all facing to the right. And you'll notice that you have a series of little score marks right there to help you with the positioning, so everything stays nice and symmetrical. Don't need to put too much glue on that, just a little bit. And find that little spot there. There we go. Do the same thing with the other side. Very easy on the glue. Use those score marks. Perfect. Okay, and we've got two layers for his nose. It's going to go like this. Okay, so all we need to do, and it may actually fit better one way than the other, so give it a flip if you need to. I'm using a red foil here to help Rudolph's nose pop a little bit more because it's supposed to be glowing, as we all know. Pop that right on there. Now you can glue this down flat if you want. I am going to actually use a little foam square, or a few foam squares, to accentuate the nose a little bit and make it pop out. Okay, so we can flip that over. I'm okay with doing it now. Typically I maybe wait a little bit until this part is on the structural part of the box, but it's so tucked away in the center of the design that I'm not worried about it too much. Okay, and you just want to match that up as accurately as you can, just like that. There we go. Okay, next we're going to take this little piece, and we are going to probably wait to actually add this to the design because it is a little bit larger, but we need to apply our glue around the perimeter especially, and then we'll do a few little lines down little striped areas here. Okay, and just match that up with the shadow layer as accurately as you can, just like that, and press that down. Good old glitter, my best friend. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna put that off to the side for now and just hold on to it until we get this actually onto the main structure, but you can see what that's going to look like once we get it on there. All right, in the meantime, that needs to go over there. Let's put together some ears. Okay, so what we're going to do here is find 2 ears that are mirrored, where the texture is on the outside like that. And you'll notice that we have a series of tabs here. These are going to be used to anchor this inside of the box. But for now, you'll want to apply glue to 1/2 of the little ear sandwich here, all the way up to the score mark. You do not want to put any glue on the tab. Then grab the other half, or the other mirror side, and I'm using the tabs here to help me with the alignment, but I don't have any glue on them. Okay, so just make sure you're not gluing the tabs shut. You want to leave them open. I'm just doing that because these straight lines here help me ensure that this whole thing is lined up correctly. Okay, and then what we'll do is you can actually, if you fold that in, we're going to take this and we're going to pop that sort of pretty much right in the center there, so we have a relatively even border going all the way around the ear, and that straight edge is going to go right up to the little score mark there. So you want to get that in as far as it'll go without crossing the actual fold. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll do that on both sides. Actually, you know what? I think we're only doing it on one side. So wait a second here. I just need to make sure. Yeah, it doesn't really matter because these are identical pieces. Just make sure you maintain an even amount of brown on both sides, or around the perimeter, I should say. Press that down. Okay, and that is going to be his left ear. Do the same thing with the other ear. Grab the 2 pieces and apply glue to 1/2. Do not put any glue on the tab. Okay, just like that. And we'll join these 2 together using the actual tabs to help us with the alignment, but not putting any glue on them. Press that down. We can fold the tabs out. And you can see here, left ear, right ear, which means that this little guy needs to go on this side. Okay. And this little hot pink color, I did ink it with it's kind of a light purple. There we go. That looks great. Press that down, and his ears are ready to go. Yep, looking good, Rudolph. Okay, so here's what we got. And take a look at, you'll notice that these long tabs here, these are gonna be the bottoms, have Roman numerals on them. There's a Roman numeral 1. I can maybe shade that in for you if it helps you see it better. Since we're putting glue on it anyway, I'm not overly concerned about it showing. Okay, let's see here. There's the 1. Here we have a Roman numeral 2. Then we have a 3, 1, 2, 3. And the 4 is 4 dashes in the shape of a square, like that. Okay, so we're gonna glue these together in that order, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we have to take, and this is number 1, that's the top of the gable box, that's going to get glued here. And then this 3 is going to get glued here. Okay, so we're going to do that first. We have these 2 pieces. One is G, that's gable, that's the actual bottom. And then you have one that says GL, that's the liner that's going to go inside. And then we have some additional panels that are going to go here and here. And the rest is overlays. Okay, so let's get going here with this assembly. I'm going to put 1 and 2 together first before I put the handle part on. So go ahead and apply your glue to this tab here, and as usual, I'm going to take that glue and spread it out to the very edge. You can put that down flat, grab piece number 2, line it up all the way up against that little score mark, pretty much as far as it'll go. And press that down. You can take it and fold it onto itself. Take a look and make sure that edge is nice and flush. And then you'll also notice that these tabs here should line up perfectly at that little corner there. And if it doesn't, that probably means that you were a little bit off, just like I was just now. And I'm going to quickly fix that. There we go, and those tabs look great. Just folding it onto itself at that seam, looks great. We have some panels that are going to go over that too, so if you have a little bit of glue that shoots out by chance, you're okay. We'll cover it up. Okay, right now we're putting glue on the side tab of section 2. Get that glue going. And I am hopped up on coffee a little bit here, so I need to take a breath and I need to slow down just a bit and focus. Okay, there we go. Line that up as accurately as you can. Give that a quick little press, light press. Fold it over onto itself. Check that angle right there. It looks great. Press that down. Give that a few seconds. There we go. 1, 2, and 3 are now connected. I'm going to grab section 4, apply glue to the side tab on section 3, just like we did. At this point, got all 4 sections joined together. Once we do this, then we're going to take and apply the 2 additional sections for the gable box lid. Get that lined up, press that down nice and easy. Fold it over onto itself. Check your alignment. Press that down, there we go. Okay, looks great. And now, before we close this up, let's take, and you'll notice here, okay, section 1, and we have another Roman numeral 1 there. This, we're going to apply glue to that tab, and we're going to glue that to this section here, just like that. Okay, so I think the best way to do this would be to, I'm going to do it like this. Okay, just like that. Let's go ahead and apply our glue to this section here, to the long tab on this, on the handle part of the top of the gable. Tuck that right underneath, line it up, and just make sure it's good and centered. There we go, looks good. Press that down very gently. Take it and fold it over onto itself. And check that alignment there, looks good. And just wipe off any excess glue that might be hanging around. Looks good. Okay. Now another thing we can do while we're here is take this additional little piece and glue that right on there. That's going to help kind of make this a little bit thicker because the gable box is going to be kind of going over onto these little tabs here, and we want those to be reinforced so they don't go breaking on us. So let's just do that now while the box is still flat. It's a lot. You leave yourself open to making more mistakes and damaging things when things are dimensional and you're gluing things on top of dimensional items. So I try to avoid it as much as possible. There we go. And now while we're here, take and put our little pom-pom on there. Cut this out of that same glitter that we used for the brim of the hat. Get that in place. Not much to it. So very, compared to some of the stuff that we've done recently, this is going to be a walk in the park. Very enjoyable, and I'm willing to bet it will be probably the coolest gift wrap or gift box that anyone receives this Christmas, especially, well, kids and adults alike. I think anyone would appreciate this. Okay, so now we're putting glue on the other part of the gable box lid. Spread that glue out nice and even. And you can see there was a number 3 on there, and that's going to go right here. Just tuck that under gently. Nice and easy. Make sure it's centered. There we go. Perfect. Right there. Press that down nicely. I'm going to fold that over onto itself. Press down. Take a look at the seam. Perfect. Doing a good job so far. Talking about you too. I'm sure you're doing a great job. Okay, and just like before, we're going to put this little guy here. Let's get glue on the whole thing. Okay, whoa, almost dropped it. And it's going to go right there. Focus. There we go. Okay, and finally our little pom-pom. And then we're going to make this thing dimensional in just a minute here, and then finally add a bottom to it and some panels. And the cherry on top is going to be Rudolph's cute little face. Okay, there we go. Cool. All right, so we got a good size little gable, good size little, I'm just being silly here. Okay, so now this is piece number 4. We're going to put glue on this tab here. Spread that out. We're going to close this thing up. Make it continuous. And you can literally do this by just putting this down, grabbing the other side. If you did a decent job of aligning everything, you should be able to just drop this into place and it should just magically align. Mine's pretty darn close. Actually, it is pretty much spot on. We're going to go ahead and flip it over onto that seam. And let's take a look here. It's not laying completely flat, which means that I'm slightly off, but if you kind of push it down and just roll it out, those the fibers in the paper will do some magical things and sort of fix any little imperfections you may have. Okay, that seam looks pretty good. Wonderful. Okay. All right, so we're getting there. Now, what I want to do here, we got to put the bottom on this, and just to make it easier, you want to fold all these out so that we can flip this onto the surface like this so that it holds nice and flat for us. Okay. Now, bear in mind that you want to make either this or this the front. So I would go with section 1 to anchor this to. Find the piece that has the letter G on it, not the GL, just the G. And we're going to take and apply glue to tab number 1. Okay, and then spread that out to the very edge. And we're going to take this piece and we're going to center it right out to the edge of that tab. Just like so. Okay, do your best to get that aligned as accurately as possible, and you can put that down on your surface and just press down onto the rest of that tab. Help the rest of that surface make contact, keep pushing down. That's going to be the front, and I know that anytime I anchor a tab and I'm only working with one tab at a time, it typically comes out nice and clean. Okay, so as I predicted, section 1 where I anchored it looks fantastic. And now what we're going to do is apply glue to the 3 remaining tabs. And since we're doing all 3 here, it's okay to go a little bit heavier with the glue because we're going to need the extra time to not only apply the glue, but spread it out and then get everything aligned. So I always tend to go a little bit heavier with the glue, especially on the bottom where you may not notice if the paper kind of warps a little bit because of all the liquid, I guess you could say, from the glue, which tends to happen. It's okay. There we go. All right, so we're going to take this and close it up. Focus on getting this side aligned and centered. Get it all the way out to the edge, nice and centered. And then the other 2 sides should just kind of fall into place. You may need to kind of push the wall in a little bit which is normal, and then just continue running your finger along the perimeter, the very edge where that bottom meets the walls. We can flip this over real quick, push down on the rest of the tabs, help them get a better hold, and don't let up on pushing down prematurely. We don't want to give it a chance to lift away from the walls, but that came out perfect. And that's exactly why you always add a little extra glue when you're doing little bottoms like that. Okay, now on the inside here, go ahead and apply some glue around the perimeter, right on those tabs, a little bit in the center. Grab this piece that says GL, pop it right inside, press that down. It's going to hide those tabs and also strengthen the bottom. Okay, and then we've got some additional pieces that we need to put together, but let's test the gable box real quick and just kind of close it up. Make sure that everything is working nicely for us. And it is beautiful. Okay. And now, so again, let's see, this is going to be my front. So this is where this guy is going to go. We'll do this last. Okay, we're going to put the two sides, actually going to put the back in first. Okay, so this piece here, just the solid brown, is going to go right on the back, like so. And what you want to do here, actually, no, I'm sorry. You're going to do the sides first. Do the sides. And I'm going to make sure you grab the right one, because we have a little slit for the ears, right? Okay, two ways of doing this now. Again, don't forget which side is going to be the front. Now, because this slit is here, the ears are going to be closer to the face. So this is the face, which means that this is your right ear. Two ways of doing this. If you want to hide the little tab for the ear, you can glue it to this and then put this down. But I think for stability, we're going to put the ear in last, and it's going to get glued to the inside. So for now, all we need to do is apply glue to this panel. Okay, we're going to apply glue to this panel, get that put on. So we'll do the two sides first, then we'll do the back, and then we'll do the front. Okay, get that lined up, make sure that you get it right on top of that slit. Not only is that going to help you with placement, but well, it's going to help you with placement. Okay, work your finger around the perimeter. Make sure everything looks nice and lined up. Now we can take this and open it up so that we can lay this down and press down from the inside. Really help the rest of that make contact. Check your edges, make sure everything looks nice and flush, and it does. So we'll head on over to this side. Again, we have the same little piece, and it's going to match up with that little slit. So let's get our glue flowing here. Okay, and again, make sure you're getting it lined up correctly. There we go. Should be flush with the bottom, flush with the two sides. That looks good. Pop that down. Press down from the inside. There we go. Check your edges. Now, I noticed here that I have a little section where right at the very edge, I just didn't get enough glue. So I'm going to grab a scrap piece of paper, just like this, and just paint a little bit of glue right on that surface. And then just press that into place and hold it while it sets. And I can actually do that on my surface just to prevent any additional warping or distress to the main structure here. And there you go. Okay, so that fixed it up in the jiffy. All right, again, because of the location of the slit, we know that this is going to be the back, so we're going to grab this piece. This piece is going to go right on the back here, and fits perfectly. The reason we're doing the back is because we actually added a thickness of paper to both ends of this so that it also overlaps the two side pieces that we just installed. Okay, and it's better to do this now instead of doing it first when you have those two layers already in place, because otherwise it feels like it might be too big, but it's not. It's perfect. At least it should be if your machine cut it right. Okay, get that aligned nicely, right up to the edge. Just run your finger right along there, and then we can put that down and press down from the inside. Beautiful. And the cool thing is that Rudolph's head is a little bit wider than it really needs to be. Well, not that it needs to be, but it's a little bit wider to kind of account for the roundness of his face, which means that if you have any little imperfections, it will mostly be hidden. Okay, now you'll notice that there's a little point here where the round turns into flat. That's going to line up with this edge here. Same with this over here. So that is your guide for centering. Make sure that this is flush with the bottom as well. I've got a little bit of that panel that is not completely down, so I will just take and throw a little bit of glue back there and press that into place. Clean that up nice and easy. And then again, this is going to go right here. But because this thing is a little bit bigger than the front, we're going to put our glue onto this surface. And I wouldn't even worry about getting the glue all the way out to the edge. Just make sure you get it rather close. You don't want that glue spilling out and creating a mess. Pop that right on there. Again, use those little points at the bottom to get it centered and make sure it's flush as well. Just like that. And hold that in place. There we have it. It's getting there. And we can, I don't even think we need to push down from the inside. This is going to be just fine. Okay. All right, so now take the brim of his hat. I'm going to flip this over. You can glue this down flat if you want. I'm going to use some foam squares to give this some dimension. I'm going to start on the ends, then hit the center, and then find the center between those two sections. And that's a good way to evenly distribute without having to measure. You just kind of, for whatever reason, the human eye and the human brain have a way of determining the center of something pretty easily. And then all we do is just determine the center between two centers, if that makes any sense. Okay, so that's going right on there like so. Just like that. Voila. There he is, or she. I think it's a guy. Okay, I will pop these out. Get this out of the way. Okay, right ear is going to go inside here. And then as you can see, we're going to take these tabs and spread them apart. Okay, I'm going to spread them out like that. And we're going to put glue on this side, right here. I'll show you here in a second. Okay, there's your glue, and then it's going to go right against the inside of the box. And use that little score mark as pretty much a guide for where it should be. Okay, so that's 1/2. I'll fold that tab back, apply my glue to the other tab like that, and push that down up against the inside. And there we go. Give that a few seconds. Be very careful here. You don't want to warp the box while you're pushing this into place. There we go. Okay, so there's one ear. And let's grab the other one. Do the same thing. Make sure the little pink part is actually facing out. Just slide that through, spread those apart. And let's apply our glue to each side. Pop that in there up against the side, just like we did the first time. Okay, and I'll just very gently, you don't need a lot of glue on this. and then just push that up against the inside. Okay, very good. Bring these two together, take the end, slide it over, and there is the gable box. So if that's all you're making, cool. I think it's awesome the way it is. But of course, we're not done. Okay, so we're going to build the box that goes on the bottom here, and it's relatively simple. Okay, so what we're going to do here, find these main pieces that have two tabs on them, and just like before, okay, this one says B for bottom, and I ended up with glue on that somehow. I'm not sure how. This one says B for bottom, so make sure that you keep the B's on the bottom. Okay, so there's another one that says B. The B tabs are here at the bottom, and then there's another one. Okay, then we have two pieces. This one says BL, that's bottom liner, and then this one just says B, so this is the actual bottom. Okay, and we have four pieces like this. So what we did to save on paper is we created, basically instead of using, well, let's see, this is, instead of using 4 sheets of paper, not even, it's 1 sheet instead of 4, we created these little guys to help reinforce the box to keep it more sturdy. We'll go over that in a second. But in the meantime, let me see here. What else do we need for this? The scarf is the other piece of the body here. So it's these pieces here, and then of course we have the gloves and his main body, okay? And I don't think it really matters. Well, yeah, actually it does. There's one panel here, and you'll notice that there's a T for top. This is where we're going to put the scarf, and then the hands are actually going to get attached to this so that we can make them dimensional. I'll explain that here in just a moment. So relatively simple. Let's go ahead and construct the main part of the box here, and we're going to begin by putting glue on the tabs that do not have the letter B on them. So do not. You want to put the glue on the tab that does not have a B on it. And let's spread that glue out, just like that. Okay, put that down on your surface. Grab the next one, make sure that B is at the bottom, and line that up as accurately as you can. Give that a gentle press, and fold it over onto itself. Make sure that these tabs at the bottom are aligned. That means that we did a good job getting this thing connected. And one of the main reasons that I fold it over like this is when I press this down, if a little bit of glue escapes, it will not get on the adjacent or the neighboring section. It will actually just sit here on the very edge, and then we can just pull it off with our fingers. Okay, so there we have a beautiful seam, 2 connected. Well, let's go over here and apply glue to the next tab. Just like that. Same thing, spread that glue out. Okay, lay that down, grab the next piece, keep that B at the bottom, line it up, gentle press next to the seam, not right on it, fold it over onto itself, check your little tabs here. As you can see, the angles right here on those tabs should sit perfectly on top of each other. And you can press that down. And another beautiful seam. Head over here to the next tab. Apply your glue. I've got my fingers right behind that tab to kind of keep it from jiggling around as I apply my glue nozzle to it. Okay, pop that down. Grab this B at the bottom. Line that up. There we go. Press along the edge there. Fold it over onto itself. You can tell that's a little bit off. You have a few moments to make any little minor adjustments. Tabs look good, even if it's slightly off. You can rarely notice. You just don't want to be way off, if you know what I mean. Okay, there we go. So now all 4 sections are connected. Take a look at your seams, make sure they look good. We'll go ahead and close this up now by applying glue to the only tab that's remaining here along the side, not the bottom, but the side. Okay, spread that glue out nicely. And just like we did with the gable box, if you do it right, you should be able to just lay this down, grab the other side, and it should just fall right into place. Pretty much, yeah. That's probably one of my better jobs of making a box. Okay, and then go ahead and fold it over onto itself here on this seam, press that down, and you see there, that glue just shot out, but it did not get on any of these surfaces. Rub that off so it doesn't get anywhere else. Okay, so there's our box so far. Okay, now we can take and fold these tabs down. And it looks like maybe I kind of rushed it there. I'll press that down a few extra times. That glue I could tell was still kind of white. I don't want to rush it. There we go. Okay, so now, just like we did with the gable box, I'm going to take and I'm going to put, what's this piece? This is BL. Yeah, so grab the piece that says B, not BL, but just B, and pick a side. Doesn't matter which one, I don't think. Let's see if there's any markers on any of these. I don't think so. No, it doesn't matter. Okay, pick a side. Apply your glue to one of the tabs with the letter B on it. That's kind of jiggly. And spread that glue out nicely. There we go. Grab this piece with the letter B on it, and just like we did with the gable box, we're going to try to get this aligned nice and center right out to the very edge of this side here. There we go. And pull that out if you need to. There we go. Cool. Press against the very edge, and you can take it and drop it down. Press down on the rest of that tab. You can do that flat. Okay. So now it is beautifully anchored, nice beautiful seam. And we'll take this now and fold in the rest of the tabs. And again, this is where you can go a little bit heavier on the glue. I mean, don't cake it, but definitely a little bit more than usual. The taller the box, the flimsier it can get. So just be careful here. Now we're gonna strengthen this thing up a little bit with a little system that we devised that will also help you save paper. Since this is 80-pound cardstock, it's, you know, relatively, it'll work. It'll hold it together. It's just not like cardboard. So we gotta reinforce it a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna go around and spread this glue out, and then we're gonna close it up just like we did that gable box. Okay, pull this down and focus on getting it aligned with this side here, the side opposite of where we already have it anchored, just like we did before. Get that nice and aligned, press that down, and now head on over to the two sides. And if you need to kind of nudge things in a little bit, that's totally normal. This paper, it's going to breathe a little bit. This needs to come out just a tad, especially right here. I'm probably going to need to go in and clean that edge up a little bit. Maybe not. Might have just salvaged it. We'll see. And just keep working around the perimeter. Let's flip it over, push down on the tabs from the inside, help that kind of hold it in place better. Okay, wow. I rocked it. Attaboy. Wow, that turned out great. Okay, I have no gaps. If you do have any gaps, you can take a scrap piece of paper, put a little bit of glue on there, just tuck it in between any area where it's not sitting flat, and then just press it down and hold it for a few extra seconds while it does its thing. Okay, now we're going to take and apply some glue to the very bottom, just like we did the gable box. And we're going to take this piece that says BL, that's bottom liner, and just run your finger along the perimeter. Get that glued into place. Perfect. And now, something that we've not done before, but I think you'll appreciate. These pieces here, you want to fold them out so that your texture is out. Actually, you know what? You could do it either way. Since it's non-textured and smooth on the inside, you can actually fold it so that the smooth surface is here. And what we're going to do is actually glue these to the corners. Okay, and that's going to help sturdy up our box. So go ahead and apply your glue to both sides. And then we're literally just going to take this and kind of just drop it in there. Just drop it in there. And then just press it up against the corner. Shove it in there as far as it'll go. And then you can pop that down on your surface. Push down, rotate, push down. And that is going to make this box even more sturdy. Okay, do the same thing here. We got 4 of these because we have 4 corners. So we were going to put panels on the outside of every one of these sections, but you know, it's a lot of paper, and technically I'm not even so sure that that actually helps with keeping this thing formed and rigid, because if anything it's just adding more weight. Now the fact that we're taking these 2 corners and gluing them together, I think that's where we're actually getting increased stability. Okay, see now that doesn't, it's not, this part is moving like crazy, that part is not. And they've got those little panels there on the 2 corners. What do we got here? All right, got a new Instagram follower, thank you. All right, so we've got 2 more to go on the inside. This is where if you need to get any mistakes out of your system, this is where you do it, because no one's going to see this. No one's really going to care about the inside of the box. Okay, the cool thing about this too is once it's done and once it's used for whatever gift you're giving, you can use it as a piece of decor in your home. It's super cool. I hope you guys really love this one. We really kind of combined a lot of things to come up with this idea. I'm really proud of it, and I think it looks really cute. Everyone I've showed it to has said nothing but wonderful things about it. And the kids are going to love it, especially younger kids. I wish, I don't really wish it because I don't want him to grow up too fast, but I wish Peyton really kind of knew what Christmas was about. He's still a little too young, but that's okay. All right, so that's going in the final corner there. Very simple because you can just use your surface. And now that box is nice and rigid. Okay, so now here what we need to do is decide which side is going to be our front. Okay, before we do anything here, again you'll notice that there's a letter T on here. I want to make sure that that T is right side up. Okay, because these little things right here for the gloves, you don't want them up here. It'll look weird. Okay, so they need to be low, and we're going to take and glue this down. There's also some score marks here and here to help you with the positioning of Rudolph's little chest. Okay, get the glue on there, nice and easy. Use those score marks to get it centered. Beautiful. Make sure that this is flush with the bottom, so I'm kind of lifting it up and pulling it with my thumbs just to get it in the exact spot I need it. I'm going to put the gloves on last. Let's find the pieces for the scarf. Here they are. Okay, we have this little guy here, and I'm trying to think, you know what, maybe I'll just hit this with a little ink. Maybe just the green part. Let's just get a little color on this. So many of you have seen me do this before. I've got a felt applicator. These are dye-based inks. Mento also makes chalk-based inks. I don't use those as often unless I need something random to actually pop up and show up on a darker color. But mostly I use the dye-based inks and just kind of hitting the surface and the edge very gently just to get a little splash of color on there. Kind of like going for a gradient sort of look when I do this. You can go super heavy if you want. I just want to give it a little splash of color. Okay, now what we're going to do here is we're actually just going to glue this down at the top, maybe the top third. Yeah. Okay, but before we do that, we have some little overlays that are going to go on top of that. Okay, it's going to go right there, just like that. Whoops, careful. Let me pick this up. There we go. Get that glue off there. Okay, and then we have we have a series of score marks here. These two pieces are the same size. Okay, and you'll see that there's score marks there. You're going to put those just above the score marks. 2 sets of score marks. Okay, just pop it right on top of the score mark at the bottom of the shape. Like that. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Just like that. Okay, perfect. And then you can see here we have 2 little markers here, the letter T, 2 sets of markers. I'm going to take and I'm going to apply glue to this area here, keep it in between the markers, and then I'm going to take and apply a little bit right at the very edge because we need that to sit flush. Pop it right in between those little markers there, just right there, and let this hang loose. You can actually take and kind of train that out a little bit, or just put a little foam square underneath it, give it a little dimension. So I'll do that. Okay. Probably a bot. There we go. Okay, now just need to figure out which side we're going to put this on. It doesn't matter, this is all the same. So just pick a side, preferably maybe a side that has what you would consider your best seam on the bottom, since some of it may be a little visible. I think that side's good. So I will go ahead and apply my glue right to this guy here. Okay, just focus on that edge. I want that to be nice and seamless. And I'm going to take and spread that out. And I'll probably, since it's thinning it out too much, I'm probably going to need to do some cleanup. Maybe not. We'll see. Okay, remember, keep the scarf on top. That lined up. Nice and flush at the top. Relatively flush on the sides. Flush on the bottom. There we go. Press that down. Okay. There we go. Okay, looks great. All right, so now we're going to take our little gloves here, and as you can see, the black is going to go on top of the white, so just that little bit of white is showing. Okay, so go ahead and apply your glue to the black part of the glove, and pop that right into place, like that. Same thing with the other side. Okay, and now I'm going to take these little doohickeys here. Well, first off, I need to make sure that this is sitting flush. I've got a tiny little gap there. That glue is still wet, interestingly. Okay, that's okay. All right, so we're going to bring these in, and we're going to glue the white part of the glove onto this side here. You want to fold it in, apply your glue here. Don't get any on the scarf. And you want the thumbs up. Okay, so match that up. Make sure it's all lined up correctly. There we go. And then if you want, you can take and put a little foam square there to make sure it doesn't like rip off, but at the same time gives it a little dimension. Okay, so I'll just throw a foam square on there very carefully. There we go. You can even add 2 if you want to really make it stand out. I think that's what I'm going to do. And just pop that right on there. There we go. Okay, same thing on this other side. Throw a little glue on here. Pop that right on there. Make sure it's lined up with that little pill-shaped shadow piece. There we go. And I think we just do 1 foam square on that one. There we go. Okay, so all that's left now is to assemble the lid. Okay, and we have this piece here. Now the reason that some of these pieces are the way they are is to allow you to resize this, because I know some of you are probably going to want to make this bigger and or smaller. Either way. Okay, so what we need to do here, we have a total of 4 of these, and let me see here. Yeah, T for top. I'm going to take and apply glue to not this tab, but this shorter, smaller, little trapezoid-shaped tab first. We need to connect these 4 strips together, make it one continuous. Okay, so just line that up, press along the side, fold it over onto itself, and this piece should sit perfectly on top of the other one. Okay, there we go. Just like that. Then we'll go over here, apply glue to the same little trapezoid tab. Spread that glue out. And pop that into place. Like that. Press that down, fold it onto itself, check your alignment. Looks good. Okay. And head over here. Spread that out. Grab the next piece and line it up. There we go. Fold it over onto itself, check your alignment, press that down. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to take and close this up, make it one solid piece. So we have one final tab here. Let's apply our glue to that, spread it out. Okay, close that up. The other side, I'm actually going to do this in the air because apparently I didn't line it up as accurately as I could have. Yeah, but now that works. Yeah, paper does weird things sometimes. It's okay. I'll fold it over onto itself there. It's good enough. It'll be fine. Okay, there we go. All right, so now we have a cool little design for the top of this. Okay, we're gonna put that together in a second. The top of the box is going to be red, but the first layer needs to be green. So we've done this a few times now where we've taken and we've anchored a big piece like this to one side. So let's do that first. Go ahead and apply your glue to one of the tabs. And let's spread that out. all the way out. Grab the green piece, and let's get that centered right out to the edge. Okay, there is actually a T on this, T for top. Okay, get that right out to the edge, nice and centered. Let that drop. And then you can actually take and press down flat on that. Let that get a good hold. Okay. Beautiful seam. Let's peel that back, get it out of the way. Bring these tabs in almost all the way. And let's get the glue going on these 3 tabs. Kind of hold it. And again, don't be afraid to go a little bit heavier with the glue here, since we've got 3 tabs that we have to apply glue to, and we have to spread it out. There we go. Beautiful. You can feel it's nice and wet. If it's starting to dry out, that's where you may run into problems where you need to kind of touch it up, but we'll see. All right, so now take and bring this down, fold it over, focus on this side here. Get that centered. If you need to kind of pull it towards you a little bit, that's fine. Make sure it's aligned. There we go, beautiful. And then these sides usually be right where they need to be. Occasionally you need to push the walls in just a smidge. There we go, beautiful. Let's flip her over, press down on the rest of those tabs, help them get a little bit of a hold. There we go. And now we'll continue just kind of working around the perimeter at the top. There we go. Solid. Let's pop that on top here to help it kind of keep its shape better. And we've got a little, awesome. I did a great job there. Okay. All right, so now what we need to do, this little design that we have here, these are also numbered, okay, and it's 1 through 4. And that's just kind of the order that we need to do it in order for it to be correct, I guess you could say, because you'll notice there's 4 here, 4 here, 5 here, 5 here. If we do these, the pattern won't continue properly, okay, so that's why we numbered them. I'll explain that in more detail here. I'm just taking a look at my lid here. I noticed there's one little area that popped up. Just give it an extra little, quick little press. If it does that to you, typically that glue is still wet enough to where it'll stick. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take piece number 1, and you can see the edges here. We're gonna meet up with the edges of the box, like so. So we're gonna glue this down first. Okay, and then we're gonna glue these down as well. So go ahead and apply glue to the tab portion of this little design. This is just easier than having to glue down every single individual little section. Just make sure that the tips of these, the edges, the pointy ends. Okay, so we have piece 1 on here, and now what we can do is fold these back and just apply a little bit of glue on each of these, especially right out to the edge. And then just fold them down onto the side of the lid. Okay, just give that a very gentle little press. Got a little glue there. And you may want to just take this off of the main box, and you can actually press down from the inside to really get that to stick. Okay, so that's section 1. Now we're going to take piece 2, okay, and piece 2 is going to go on like this. And now you can see how it should line up with the other one. Just focus mostly on just trying to get it centered, okay, and that should go right out to the very edge here as well. So that's also a nice guide, is making sure that it's right up to the edge of that. Okay, so let's take and apply our glue to the main strip here on section 2, and pop that into place. Now if we make a little bit of a mess on this green part, it's not a big deal because it's going to be covered up with a red piece anyway. So go ahead and put that down flat. There we go. That looks good. So now we can flare these out. And let me flare them out a little more. Just real quick, and then a little bit right out to the edge. There we go. And bring that down. Pop that into place. There we go. Okay, you can use your surface. Really push that down. And there we go. Okay, so 2. Next we need piece number 3. 3 is going to be the one with the 4 little strips. Okay, get that nice and centered. And let's apply our glue to the strip. Get that on there. Make sure that these little guys are butted up against the edge of the box lid. There we go. Push that down. And then let's flare these out just like we did. Get that glue out to the very edge of each of these little stripes. There we go. Bring it down. Press and press. You get the idea. Okay, last one. Piece number 4. Let's apply our glue to the strip. There we go. And just pop that in as far as it'll go. Nice and centered. There we go. Make sure they're all butting up against the edge of the box, lid, I should say. And same thing. Just work that glue all the way to the very edge here. There we go. Bring that down. And the last one. Perfect. Okay, so now we just need to pop the last little red piece on top to finish this off. I'm going to go a little bit heavier with the glue here, mostly around the perimeter, because we're going to spread that glue out, get it to look nice and seamless. A little bit on the inside, spread that glue out. There we go. And then just take this guy and maybe just start on one side, get it centered, pop it down into place very carefully. Just work the edge. And there we go. Flip it over and press down from the inside. And just check your little seams. Make sure everything is nice and flush. Mine's looking good. Okay, it's gonna go right on top. We got a little bit of that white from the glue that hasn't dried completely. If it's sticking out too much, just rub it off, but for the most part, should be good to go. And then we'll take our head, pop it on top, and there he is, ready to go. Great size. So that's going to do it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please visit us on YouTube and consider hitting that subscribe button. While you're there, hit the little bell so you get notifications anytime we release a new product, whether it be paid or free. And if you make this or anything from our new bundle, I'd love to see it, and so would the rest of our community. So head over to your Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Official. That's where you'll find myself and over 46,000 other dreamers that inspire us daily. So hope you had a blast, and as always, I look forward to crafting with you again. Hey, thanks for crafting along with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of our other videos and please consider hitting that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to visit our site and check out our free SVG section where you'll find over 140 free SVG files complete with assembly tutorials. I'll see you in the craft room.